This episode is sponsored by Gorichka Clothing. That's Kurochka. Gorichka Clothing makes t-shirts, tote bags, and other cool things inspired by Russian and Ukrainian culture, pre-Putin, of course. They're also currently working on a cookbook that will be filled with Russian recipes, food-related history, literature, and beautiful illustrations. I'm looking at the shirts right now, and they're awesome. They've got one that's got all sorts of drawings of what goes into a borscht soup and a big pot of the stuff at the bottom. You should check it out. Go to gorichkaclothing.com. That's Kurochka clothing.com. Or check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/gorichkaclothing. Kurochka clothing. Welcome to the Smug Film Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Clark. With me today is Jenna Ipcar.
Howdy.
And live via Skype, it's Alex Hiatt.
Hiya, hi.
Hiya, Hiatt.
Hiya, Hiatt.
Yeah. Aren't we all live?
You're especially live. You're coming from a great distance. Where are you coming from today?
Well, Michigan.
That's a great distance. Unless you're listening to this podcast in Michigan, like one of the listeners, and then they're like, that's not a great distance. That's
Yeah, go visit Alex.
Yeah,
the signal's still going to outer space and back.
That's true. So you are our first, you're our second space traveler guest, because Harry Brewis traveled to space to get to here into our ears, and so have you.
Yep.
What's space like?
It's like in Willy Wonka. You remember how they like the camera that digitizes you and sends all your little bits, basically? That's what's happening to me now. So I can't tell you what it's like in the transit. I can only tell you what it's like on either end.
So there's no sensation? You don't feel tingly?
Nope. No, yeah, I don't get that at all.
Alex is, he was one of the first Smug Film guys, along with me and Greg DeLisa. We launched the site in January 2013. He predates Jenna.
That's right.
I don't know when you joined the site, but a while after.
The three of you gave birth to me.
Yeah, it was me, Greg, and Alex writing pieces like every week. And then Alex started caring more about rocks than he did about movies.
I'm a geology student.
Oh, I thought that was way more. Never mind. Continue.
What did you think? Crack rocks?
Yeah.
Oh, no. God, no. No, that's not my style.
So geology is your style, yes?
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Why do you like rocks so much? What's so great about rocks?
Oh, God.
Pitch rocks to us.
Okay, well, so the rocks in and of themselves aren't really that interesting, but it's kind of a combination of what you can learn from the rock. Like every rock.
You're already losing me. Come on. Why are rocks
really old? I mean, I can pick up any rock and I'll be like, this rock is 200 million years old. Just knowing as much Earth history as I do now, that gives like a really deep sense of awe, you know.
Do you end that every sentence when you do that with rock and roll?
No. You know, one of the things that really disappointed me about the whole field of geology is that when I first chose my major and everything, I went up to one of my professors when someone made a pun and I said, real geologists don't abide by the puns, right? Like you can't really do that in the field. And she said, no, everyone does it. You go to the conferences, there are puns everywhere. And I was really disappointed at that. It's kind of a...
Why do you hate puns there, guy?
Well, because there are only so many rock puns you can make, and so it's inevitably just the same ones over and over and over.
Like you give everyone the people's eyebrow?
I don't know what that is.
The Rock.
Is that like a communist?
WWE.
That's all I know about WWE.
Oh, who did that?
The Rock.
The Rock, man.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It doesn't matter.
He had a lot of little shticks, didn't he, then? I don't remember them all. I like Dwayne Johnson, though. I see him in a movie, and I'm glad he's there. He's not great, but...
Yeah, he can make a movie pretty damn tolerable. Yeah. Did you ever see that Walking Tall one?
I saw it like on TV. I didn't see all of it.
It's worth watching. He carries a 2x4.
I saw the original Walking Tall. It's terrible.
Because he wasn't in it. He's Hercules now, right? That's coming out this summer.
Right,
really?
Yeah.
He plays Hercules.
Oh, boy.
There's like the second Hercules movie this year, I think.
There's two Hercules movies this year. He's in one of them. Some other guy's in the other one. But, I mean, why even bring that other movie out? If The Rock is Hercules in one of them, that's the one. All right, so, Alex, you've written a lot of pieces for the... well, not a lot, actually. You're kind of a slacker.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot.
Yeah, you've written some pieces. Jen has written some. You guys are both slackers.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I could have gone back to the rocks later.
Yeah, the rocks can wait. If anything, the rocks have been waiting more than anything else on the planet, right?
That's true. Yeah.
You know, they hang out for millions of years waiting for Alex Hiatt to pick them up and take a look at them and say, hey, this has been here for a while, right?
Yeah,
that's how it works, right?
That's pretty much all we end up saying.
You just write it down in the pad. This rock's been here for a while. And then take another one up.
Long time.
A long time.
Grayish color.
Roundish, grayish color. Probably been here a while.
Probably.
Pretty hard.
Rock number 90056854390.
You know, it's interesting when I did, not to get too far off topic, no one wants to hear about rocks, but
I want to hear about rocks.
When I did my thesis, it was on a volcano in Iceland. Like, everyone who works on this volcano, nobody knows when it erupted. It could have been 10,000 years, could have been 150,000 years. So I actually don't know. I can't say, like, a rock's old or not old.
Was that a joke against the Icelandic not having good memories?
Do they not have good memories?
I don't know, but it could have been. It kind of works as a joke.
No, I mean, I think they have good memories. They use the same script for their language that they used 1,000 years ago, essentially.
So they're lazy too.
Damn. Is that not the volcano that exploded that no one can pronounce?
No, it's not that one. I visited that one.
Oh, really? Can you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Come on, wait, come on. Do it again.
Oh, wow.
Eyjafjallajökull? Eyjafjallajökull.
Yeah, it's close enough.
So wait, so you were sitting on a volcano working on your thesis paper. What was happening?
Nothing. I mean, it was a quarry. It's a quarry now. They mine the rock out of it to use as like construction filler.
Aren't the rocks a little too hot for that?
Nope. No, they cooled off.
That's
a while ago. I brought a bunch home. Gave one to my mom.
How do you get that through customs?
You know, they didn't ask. It was the weirdest thing. I had a backpack just full of souvenir rocks and no one said a thing.
Nice.
And if you call in the next 5 minutes, Alex will send you an Icelandic rock.
Can we give away a rock? Would you give one away to a fan?
I'd give away a rock, yeah.
Yeah? How big are they? Could you ship them?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's give away a rock to a fan right now.
Absolutely.
All right, so the first person to tweet about this episode when it goes up. Now, this is the first person that listens to it. I'm not going to put this on the site. I'm not going to put this in the description that we're giving away anything. This is only going to people that are listening to the podcast right now. First person who hears these words in their ears goes on Twitter and tweets about the show and says, hey, I want a rock. They're going to get a rock from Alex Hiatt. Can you sign the rock?
Can you sign it, Dwayne Johnson?
I'm not going to sign the rock. I mean, that'd ruin it.
Okay.
I could include like a slip or like a plaque.
Some crack cocaine.
I'm not going to
do a fake certificate of authenticity.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I can do that.
You just say do a fake certificate of authenticity. Just like kiss it with some lipstick.
Yeah, kiss the rock. It'll be like a Blarney Stone. It'll be the Smug film kissing rock. And whoever wins it will have good luck with movies whenever they watch them for a whole year.
That sounds great.
Because it's a rock kissed by Alex Hiatt.
Unless it gets lost in the mail like that Gooby DVD.
Oh, man.
Oh, Gooby.
Oh, don't even bring that up. Early on in the site, I don't know, this might be pre-Jenna.
It was a while ago, yeah.
And we were giving away a Gooby DVD because there's this movie called Gooby, which is about a giant bear played by, I think, Robbie Coltrane, the guy from like the Harry Potter movies and stuff. He's playing this giant CGI bear named Gooby. And it's a terrible movie, and we wanted to give it away, and we gave it away to somebody, and Alex Hiatt even bought it on Amazon and sent it to the person's house, but it must have gotten lost in the mail, or somebody saw it in the mailbox and said, hey, I want this, or something, but it never got to the person.
Yeah, somebody saw Gooby in a mailbox and said, hey, I want this.
It's very sad.
R.I.P.
Because it was us living up to what we said we were going to do, and this was like very early on. It was like some fan that was like really into us and everything, and we let him down.
And you lost that fan.
And it was like way later we asked him like, hey, you got that Gooby DVD, right? And he's like, no. And
no.
It had already been long enough that like we couldn't file a claim with like Amazon and stuff.
It's too late to go back to Amazon.
Fucking disaster.
I mean, it would cost like $4 or something. I can always get another one.
Well, I don't know if they're like jinxed now. I'd be afraid to get another one. That's why I haven't bought it so I could watch it, because I'm scared it's not going to arrive.
The Gooby that never was.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're the fan who we sent Gooby to, sorry I forgot your name.
Michael.
Was it Michael? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Michael, get a rock, man.
Yeah, maybe Michael can win. Oh, I really hope he's listening. I really want him to win something. All right, so Alex Hiatt, you've written a lot of pieces for the site. One of the pieces that you wrote, it's probably my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite, is a blank stare is worth 1,000 words. Can you sort of summarize that for our listeners who maybe haven't read that one yet?
Yeah, sure. So the whole piece was inspired by the Kuleshov effect, which was an experiment they ran a very long time ago, like 3/4 of a century or something like that. And I actually don't remember. There are a few versions of the experiment. I don't remember who did what or which one's real, but they basically had images of a person's blank face and they juxtaposed it with an image of like a coffin with a kid in it or a meal or a number of different things. And so when they would cut between that image and back at the face, the audience would think to themselves, he looks really hungry in that image, or, oh, the person looks really sad in that image, even though the face never actually changed at all. So it was a pretty cool realization, really pretty early in the history of film, that you can put a lot of emotion into certain images just by placing that image next to other images. Plenty of great movies just really rely on that for really key moments. And my favorite example is probably 2001: A Space Odyssey, where Kubrick has this image of HAL 9000 of his little camera eye just filling up the entire screen. It's just the circle with a red dot in it. And it's in the movie a bunch of times. And even though it's the exact same image every time, just because of the story that is going on right around it at that moment, you feel different things toward HAL, or he makes you feel different things.
And another example you give is C-3PO in Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
I love that. Which is a great example. Talk about that one real quick.
Yeah, so that one's even more interesting because in some of them, like it's at least a human's face or...
Right, you give like Fargo and Lost in Translation as examples of like blank stares. But yeah, it's another robot one, the C-3PO one.
Yeah, and he's interesting because he looks so dumb. I mean, the design of 3PO is just like really cartoony. But that moment in the Star Wars movie is like, for the longest time, I never really put words to it or knew why, but that's like the moment that stuck with me from the first time I saw the movie until now. So it's when they're in the trench on the Death Star and R2-D2 just gets hit by the laser and he gets fried. And then it cuts down into the control room with Princess Leia and C-3PO and some guy with a huge mustache who's never named. I don't remember what Luke says, but he said, "I lost R2" or something like that. And Leia doesn't care. The other guy doesn't care. They're just staring at their control panels or whatever. But C-3PO looks over at Leia for just a second and then turns back. And it's like the saddest thing in the world that he just lost his best friend and no one cares at all. And it was just brilliant. And I never really understood why that worked so well. But it's precisely because his face is completely blank.
Yeah, his face is blank for the entire film. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in that moment, that's the moment where you really feel the emotion for him, but nothing's really changed on his helmet or anything. Right. It's a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the Kuleshov effect I ran into personally when I was making rehearsals, because the whole thing with that movie, for those who don't know, is that it was a documentary that I did where I took like a lot of footage of just aspiring actresses just living their lives, like at home, hanging out, laying on a bed, eating breakfast, taking a shower, whatever, just going about like what their day would be. And I just cut it all together so it was like they were all the same girl and it was all just one day cut from like their lives intertwined. So the entire movie and anything anybody takes from it, you know, a lot of times people were watching a movie and they're like, they forget that they're watching a documentary as it goes on because of the flow and the things that they're remembering. Whereas if they were just to look at my bare footage, they'd be like, oh, it's just you just shooting static shots of like people. But there are these flows in that movie that I was able to create in editing because I was essentially writing it in reverse. I was writing it in the editing by how I juxtapose the images and how I was able to make things seem like somebody was sad or somebody was happy or, you know, just all these things that were happening. I created this through line that was entirely arbitrary that I just sort of saw as I was looking at the footage and created. And it was all because of that effect. It was all the juxtaposition of images. It had nothing to do with anything they were giving me, that It had nothing to do with any acting even. So I owe that entire movie to that being a thing that's possible with film. It's such a crucial thing to film, and it's such a crucial thing to acting, where a lot of actors don't realize how little they can give and still convey what's needed of them in the scene.
Yeah, that makes me think of Jean-Pierre Melville films, specifically Les Samurai, which is, I think, just a brilliant, example of minimalist filmmaking at its best, where you have Alain Delon just standing there, mostly just, I don't think he says much in that movie. I mean, he has some lines, but you really never learn anything about him. You see the house he lives in is completely bare. You kind of meet his girlfriend, who you don't get much out of that either. And yet you feel for him. And by the end of the movie, you're really connected. And what's actually interesting too with what you're talking about is how you can read a character multiple ways. How you can read him as sympathetic, or you can just read him as a stone cold killer. You can even, with I think Les Samurai, you can read him even as maybe autistic. There's something very interesting how you can interpret it in any way you want, and the ending is always the same. It's like a choose your own adventure almost, and it always ends in the same scene, and it ends in the same way, and everybody kind of gets what they want out of it. But
yeah, he's a great example, Alain Delon. I mean, he's just talk about a beautiful man.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn. But I think also the beauty of an actor or an actress, it can sort of help you sort of be seduced by the image. And Hal in 2001, that's just a gorgeous image of his eye. So it's almost like a sleight of hand where you don't realize the effect of the staticness because you're just so enamored with the beauty, and you're noticing all these things about the beauty of the image. It's just that great sort of, sleight of hand magic aspect of filmmaking and editing.
Yeah, totally.
Hal's a hottie.
Hal's pretty, yeah, Hal's a pretty man.
Yeah.
Better
pretty
looking
robot.
than C-3PO, that's for sure.
Yeah. As far as gorgeous robots, Hal is up there.
Definitely.
Yeah. Wally, too. Wally's a cutie.
He's cute, but he's not, he doesn't have
the
that,
sex appeal of Hal.
Yeah. Hal, you just kind of feel safe.
You feel safe when you, well, see, I mean, that's the beauty of the whole thing.
Until he's a dick.
Right. No, yeah, that's true.
But there's something
but he's
about
still an all-seeing eye. I mean, I've never felt safe looking at Hal. He's creepy.
I don't know. There's something warm about him.
It was a warm glow, certainly.
Yeah. I like the idea that he is the spaceship, essentially. Isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah.
So it's everything is Hal.
Right.
That's, I just realized that. Oh, man. I never realized that before. It's kind of a misdirection because you think of the eye as Hal, but Hal's the entire spaceship, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So
he's the brain.
So everything they're interacting with. Oh man, that's crazy. I never really thought about that because it's it totally steers you off. It's almost like a blatant red herring, and it's even red too. Oh shit. Oh no. I wish we had a button I could press that is like an air horn. I just had a brain meltdown. Another one of your pieces that's gotten a huge amount of traction is not all movies should have jokes, but all movies should have a sense of humor. That was a really big one for a while. It's got 18 comments now that I look at it. Talk to us about that, because I think you're onto something with that one.
Well, that's a much more complicated one. The piece, it's sort of like my own manifesto. I hate movies that are just morose and sullen the whole time, because it's really it's the contrast. Sad things in movies they don't feel sad unless the rest of the movie is happy, and vice versa. But there are movies out there that they just don't let up.
It's superhero movies now, the darkness of that.
Yeah, I can't stand them. Things like The Man of Steel, I thought on the last episode, you guys' conversation was really interesting, and it almost made me want to watch it. But everything I've seen of it is just so leaden, which is one reason why Guardians of the Galaxy, as dumb as it looks, I'm actually looking forward to a bunch, just because it knows it's a cartoon and it runs with it completely.
Yeah, it's like a break. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's what I feel. That's exactly what I feel when I watch the trailer, because I watched the trailer for ever since, say, The Dark Knight Rises, where every single superhero movie trailer is just the Inception trailer over again, or Star Trek Into Darkness, and I just see it and I'm just oh god, here we go again.
Did you see Thor?
I saw both Thors. Yeah.
That was very cartoony, I thought.
It was, yeah. No, Marvel's better at it, I guess, in general than DC, the DC adaptations. And I actually liked the Thor sequel quite a bit. I think it's my favorite Marvel movie so far.
So your whole thing with the piece, just to bring it back to that, is, every movie should have its own sense of humor, essentially, because that will sort of guide it through the warm stuff and the cold stuff and everything in between, I guess. And I think you bring up like Coen Brothers, and it's also the point you make is it's not that a movie needs jokes. It just needs some sort of inherent sense of what is happy and funny within it.
And it's like, it can be completely separate from the story. So like Fargo, I think one of the points I make is that Fargo is a funny movie. It's a black comedy. It has jokes. Some of my favorite jokes ever are in that, like the license plate joke, which I can't recall word for word, but it's just so good. But even if you took all of those actual jokes out of there, it would still make you laugh. And it's like even completely separate from the story, completely separate from the jokes. It's like, any movie is you having a conversation with the director. And I want that conversation to be like genial and fun, even if the movie is really morose.
Yeah, there needs to be sort of like a railing to get through it. Like I'll go down any dark tunnel a film wants me to go down, as long as there's some sort of railing. Like the movie Sallow, that's like a great example of a movie without a railing to hold on to.
Right.
Essentially. And I think most movies, you really need that railing, I guess, of humor or something, some sort of whatever.
I think Kubrick is actually a real genius with that, on top of the Coen brothers, them definitely. But Kubrick Clockwork Orange makes me laugh so much, and it's such a dark movie. Every time I watch that movie, I think like, oh my, it's like Jesus Christ, like I always forget how vicious and dark that film is. But there's these little scenes. I mean, like the expressions. The way that people say things, like I always think of when Alex is marched into the Ludovico medical treatment center, and he's like doing these like majorly high goose steps because he's just happy to be out of prison. And it's just dripping with sarcasm, just the way he walks, and it always makes me laugh. Or how the writer Alex, when he sort of pushes, he's feeding Alex, and he's something's going to happen to him, and he's totally blissfully unaware of it. And he just like pours, he goes, more wine.
Yeah.
With that like intensity. It's hilarious. I mean, it's such a funny movie. Lolita has that too. I mean, Peter Sellers is hilarious.
Yeah.
And his interactions just with everybody is just, and it's such a dark, creepy, freaking movie.
And also, like when people complained about the Brown Bunny when that came out, there's so much like handrail in that movie. There's so many funny moments in that movie that don't get any credit, that are just as funny as like little quirky moments in like Buffalo 66. Did you guys ever see the Brown Bunny?
No, I know you love it.
Yeah, I saw Buffalo 66, but
well, people don't like give it enough credit, Brown Bunny, because like there are these moments where like he stops and like talks to people along his like trip across America. Well, not fully across America, but wherever he's going to. They're just funny as hell. Like he goes into like a pet store, and it's just this like sad but sadly funny moment where he's like asking about like bunny rabbits and stuff, and it's just this kid who could like care less. But like that movie just doesn't get credit for that. But there was definitely a handrail there, but I guess people couldn't overlook like other surface elements or whatever. But it was definitely there for people who wanted to grab onto it.
It feels manipulative, I think, otherwise. I think of Lars von Trier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's such a manipulator. I mean, like Dancer in the Dark, like that's a movie where there's not one damn moment. And then by the end of it, you're like maybe crying or you're really upset, and then you have resentment towards him for it.
No, that's a great example, because I watched that pretty recently, and it's a movie that I probably wouldn't have gone out of my way to watch, but I watched it for a class. And just the whole time, like, it's really long. The image is just really offensively harsh on your eyes the whole time, and so is the sound. And it's just like a slow march to death the whole time. And I'm just thinking to myself the whole time, like, why? I just want to laugh once. Just give me something. Because otherwise I'm just angry at the movie.
Right.
And it's the same thing with a lot of horror movies, where it's just like, you know how it's going to end because of the way it's set up. Like things that I used to love, like The Descent, the Neil Marshall movie, which I probably still like. I haven't seen it in a while. But you know where it's going to go, because just that sort of horror movie always ends with everybody dying.
Right.
Or like a person escaping, but who cares? And it's just, there's like nothing to enjoy out of it. And like, it might exhaust me, but it doesn't leave me with anything by the end.
Von Trier is frustrating too, because he's certainly capable of bringing funniness into it. Dogville has some very funny moments.
Yeah, Dogville I like.
And Manderley too. Like even like the credit sequences of Dogville at the end, like you have to laugh, and there's that levity there. it's just so frustrating that somebody so capable would choose not to use those paintbrushes in his pocket, you know?
Yeah, totally. And his show too, Riget, The Kingdom, is like really funny. Every episode you're laughing.
Yeah, but he abstains sometimes.
I feel like he goes out of his way just to kind of say "fuck you" to his audience.
He's a weird one. I can never figure out what he cares about that he makes and what he doesn't care about.
Yeah.
Because there's this great quote from Aki Kaurismäki once where he said that he can't tell the difference between the movies that he made when he was drunk off his ass and the movies he made when he wasn't. Like he can't even remember which ones are which. But I feel like with Von Trier, I know that some of his movies he like just doesn't give a shit, and some of his movies he really does give a shit. But I don't know if I only love the movies where he doesn't give a shit, or I only love the movies where he does give a shit. Like his Dogville, I think, is a fucking masterpiece. Tarantino once said Dogville, it should have won like the Pulitzer Prize. If it was like a stage play, it would have won like all these awards. It's just perfect. It's so well written, so well constructed. And I don't know if that's just something he crapped out, and like stuff that I don't like of his, like Melancholia, is the stuff that he really, 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 really cares about, or if that's the junk. Like I can't tell with him. There's no indication either way.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. It's an interesting feeling because when I watched Melancholia, like it was also a movie just like that, where it just, it's going to have an effect on you because it is like the images are powerful, the music's loud as hell, and it'll get to you one way or another. But I didn't really enjoy it. I don't think I'll ever go back to it. Yet there are those little moments in it, like a lot of the banter between some of the characters, like I loved. And so even if that was a movie he's just crapping out, he's still not that bad at doing those little things. Like if that's just the way that he conceives of dialogue, if it's that natural, then it's still better than most. And it'd be nice if he gave a shit or honed it. I think of like Louis as well.
Louis is a good example.
Yeah, because in the show, it's like every scene, the dialogue is just so far above what I'm used to with TV, and I can't tell if that's like there are snippets within that show, and I can't tell if that's like a story he really cared to put in, or if that was just he had a quick idea, so he shot it and threw it there. Like either way, it's still really, really good.
I think we're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back for Old, New, Borrowed, Blue, and some questions. See you soon. And now, a movie joke by comedian Anthony Kapfer.
I have an idea for a horror movie. It's a reimagining of the film 28 Days Later, but it's all about women and their periods.
This has been a movie joke by comedian Anthony Kapfer. Visit him at anthonykapfer.com. Kapfer. And now it's our segment Old, New, Borrowed, Blue. For Old, I'm going to talk about a movie called Heaven's Gate, which is kind of infamous as like this goddamn movie that cost too much and didn't live up to expectations. But Criterion put it out maybe a year ago. It's an incredible movie. I went into it just expecting, it being like a curiosity. It's a really gorgeous movie. There are some visuals in it that are like the best I've ever seen ever in a film, and the story works, and it totally works as a movie, but it just has this notoriety about it, about just being like this failure of the studio trusting this director who they shouldn't have trusted, and him just rebuilding entire sets because they weren't right, and just constantly always changing everything. I think it was like the biggest budget movie like at the time, and biggest failure, and this, that, and the other. But it's a gorgeous fucking movie. Have you guys seen that one?
I haven't. It's interesting though that you mentioned it, because I was reading about it not too long ago. So much of what you hear, like there are people who actually call it the worst film ever made and stuff like that. So that's interesting.
It's crazy to me. Like you watch it and you can't even fathom how somebody could even feign hate for it.
Yeah. It's not too different from Freddy Got Fingered. Like even the first time I saw that, I could not understand how like a smart person with a sense of humor could watch it and not like find worth in it.
Exactly.
That was so alien to me.
And with Heaven's Gate, it just feels like a Criterion film. Like from the moment you start it, you're like, yeah, this feels like a Criterion Collection film, something that they found that's well revered. Everything that you heard about it just goes aside and you're just in it. And it's a remarkable film. Jenna, you have a new one that you saw recently that you liked?
Yeah, I went to go see The Double in theaters, which is the new Richard Ayoade movie starring Jesse Eisenberg. And I went to go see that because I adore Richard Ayoade, who was might be more well known as Moss from the IT Crowd. He was also in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, Man to Man with Dean Lerner.
That guy.
Yeah. He makes movies now. He did Submarine, which came out a couple of years ago, which I really thought was charming. It was cute, had good soundtrack, and always looks interesting. He likes that very kind of 70s, like it's like a kind of retro look. And The Double is completely shot in that, and it looks fantastic. It's basically it's based off this Dostoevsky short novel. I think it's a short novel about a guy who works at a company, and then his doppelganger gets hired, and he's like way cooler and smarter, and then or he is, and it's Jesse Eisenberg, so he's like, always the loser. And then you get to see like the cool Jesse Eisenberg, which was kind of funny too. He was well acted. And what was great about the whole movie though is that it's very atmospheric. It's in this really cool world. It's sort of outside of time. This 80s universe, actually. There's these great little short clips of like television shows in the background that are just like so stylized, so awesome. Kind of looks like a very Soviet. It's as if Soviet Russia, managed to take over the United States in the 80s or something. And all of this technology is really strange, outdated, but it looks like it, used to exist. And wonderful setting. I mean, really great looking movie. And then it's super trippy, which is my kind of movie.
I was just gonna say, when I saw the trailer, it had a pretty Kafka-esque vibe to it.
Definitely, yeah. It's super bizarre, and it kind of spirals out of control. It's very interesting. I mean, it's the type of movie where you kind of leave thinking like, I really enjoyed that. And it makes you laugh, actually. That's one thing I really loved about it, is it really makes you laugh in certain parts. And yet it's still kind of this strange movie. You kind of leave thinking like, wow, what did I just watch?
Well, Kafka's funny as shit. I mean, he doesn't get enough credit for that.
Oh, sure.
People just think, his most sensational aspects, but he's just a funny guy.
Oh, absolutely. The Castle, and every movie version of The Castle is always pretty funny, too.
I haven't seen Haneke's Castle. Did you see that one?
No, I haven't.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, I own it. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it
I have
either.
no excuse for not seeing it yet, because it's literally right over there. I could go grab it. I could stick it in my computer and watch it right now while you guys are talking.
There's another version of The Castle. I mean, this is actually veering into old, called Zamak, which was directed by Alexei Balabanov, question mark, if I said that correctly. I saw that. It was a great version of that book. If you guys can find it, really interesting. But The Double, very good. I would absolutely recommend it. I love Richard Ayoade. I can't wait to see what his next movie is going to be. I think that one of the reviews I read, actually it was a bad review of the movie. It has pretty good reviews, I think. But one bad review kind of said that it was like a darker Wes Anderson stylistically, which I don't see at all. But he does have a very coherent style, which I like, and I love seeing that in movies. So, I mean, if you just want to see a movie that looks super cool, will make you laugh out loud, and maybe kind of scratch your head, then absolutely, The Double was awesome.
Yeah, I've been sleeping on this guy. I got to check him out. He seems like he's up my alley. Garth
Marenghi's Dark Place is hilarious.
People have been recommending I watch that for like years and years. I got to finally fucking do it.
Watching The Double, I went back and watched Garth Marenghi, and I've been like crying myself to sleep. It's so good.
I'll check it out, yeah.
So that and the other show that he worked on, Snuffbox. Those two are like some of
Snuffbox.
I've seen some of Snuffbox. I like that a lot.
So
Nobody
good.
likes Snuffbox. Everyone I tell to watch it hates it.
Oh, I love it.
I liked what I saw of it. All right, so Alex, you have one for Borrowed, right?
Yeah.
This is something you saw streaming?
Yeah, I saw this on Netflix. It's The Man of Tai Chi, which is Keanu Reeves' directorial debut. So it's basically a pet project of his that he's been working on for a long time. I think he thought it up in 2008 when he was working with a stunt guy named Tiger Chen from China. They just had this idea for a story about Tai Chi. The movie's pretty Tai Chi-y. It's all about like balance and control, and it's sort of about like old China meeting new China and stuff like that. But it's a martial arts movie, and it's pretty like classically choreographed. It's not like The Raid or Ong Bak or these sorts of new martial arts movies that are just extremely brutal, which I love. But it's not that sort of thing. It's a little bit gentler. But the choreography is fantastic, and it's pretty much all fights. Like, I think there's 40 solid minutes of fighting in it. But it's interesting because, it's not a great movie. Like, the story's dumb. Keanu's performance is incredibly hokey and flat and dumb, and it's endearing for that reason. The most interesting thing about the movie is just the photography. He was working with this company, I forgot what it's called, but they have a camera system called the Bot and Dolly, and it's just a robotic arm on a dolly that's automatically controlled, and you basically program in all the camera movements. And so you can weave around things really quickly and get shots that a human with a single camera would not be able to do. Unfortunately, that camera broke right before they filmed it, which I didn't know when I saw the movie, because it definitely has that vibe. Like, the camera is just all over the place, going 360 degrees around people. And so it's really like live. The feel of the fights is really, really cool. And I think the movie in general just looks really, really gorgeous. Every shot is like so wide that the set is like bending around the edges of the screen. And it's just great. So yeah, if you like martial arts at all, if you want to see what Keanu Reeves has been up to, it's a really, really good martial arts movie.
Does he feel like an auteur? Or does it feel more that he's like kind of feeling it out and grabbing from other places?
I guess it's kind of hard to say. Visually, I haven't seen a martial arts movie like it, maybe ever.
So maybe that's his thing, I guess.
Maybe, yeah. I think it looks great. So supposing he had much to do with that, then I guess that.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out. So for our blue movie pick, right behind Jenna's head.
Oh, God.
There is a blue bag, okay?
Yeah.
This isn't a magic trick. I'm just trying to build suspense.
I think I can guess what's in the bag.
There's a movie in that bag. Okay.
Probably Gooby.
Did I get it?
Actually, it's not even a movie, but it's a DVD. I got it
Gooby.
from
Gooby.
It's not Gooby.
Damn it.
Stop saying Gooby. Hashtag Gooby. There's a blue bag behind Jenna's head, and I don't want you to open the bag because it's going to sound like shit.
You don't want that nice rustling in this
It's going to be
mic?
crinkly and awful. But inside that bag, okay, Best Buy bag, I got Children's Hospital Season 1 and 2 for $9.99 on DVD. It was on sale. Maybe it's still on sale. Check it out. Usually it goes for like $17 on Amazon. You can't really find it that cheap anywhere. And if you haven't seen Children's Hospital, that is such a fucking good show. Like, I don't know why anybody would not watch it if they like funny things. But it seems
I need to see it. But you know what? It's the ads turn me off because they're really creepy.
Oh, it's so good.
But everyone who's so good isn't it?
It's immaculate. Have you seen that one yet, Alex? That series?
No. Adult Swim's something that I just like. There's so much new, different stuff all the time that I don't keep up with it at all.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with, but that one, go out of your way. Get Season 1 and 2. If it's still on sale on Best Buy, guys, just jump on it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. You know it's just incredible. So it's not a movie, but it is blue, and I just had to do that whole blue bag thing.
It's there. I can confirm it.
It's right there. So that concludes this segment, and we will be right back with the mailbag. Actually, we'll just go into it right away because I don't have a mailbag jingle like I did with the old new Borrowed Blue. So let's open this mailbag. Anthony asks, do you think that digital video is too clean to convincingly portray ugliness and dirtiness on screen?
We always talk about the high ISO, your favorite thing, in grain.
I think you can do it if you do it like that. I think how it's used traditionally and what the proper way is of using digital video is obviously as little grain as possible. Like, that seems to be the goal. Like, that's what's cool about digital, is because you can do grainless stuff. We talked a little bit about Cary Fukunaga's movie Jane Eyre, like on one of the previous episodes. And my favorite aspect of it, I didn't even get a chance to bring up because I think it just slipped my mind, was that he plays around with ISO in that movie a lot. Like, there are scenes that are just grainy as fuck, digital grain, and there are scenes that are very clean. I mean, that's such a twisted story. You need that graininess there at some points to get really dark with it and make it feel like you didn't even know what was going to happen. So if you go check out his version of Jane Eyre, that's a great example of how to use it in a fun way that really gets ugliness and dirtiness and griminess into the screen.
I think also lighting has a lot to do with it. I think anything that's a well-produced movie, well-lit, and atmospheric. I mean, actually, The Double has a very grimy kind of look to it. It has a very 80s, like that everything kind of rusting look to it. Mm-hmm. And he does it great. I mean, I admittedly don't know if that was shot on film or digital, but you
probably digital.
I'm going to assume, or something like that movie Prisoners was also just very dark. I mean, it was atmospheric, and I don't know. I'd say that you can do it.
Well, a lot of times what people are doing now is they're wiping the footage of any digital grain, making it super clean, and then applying layers of actual film grain over it to give it a graininess, which can look very good. I think that's how they did the Aliens Blu-ray, because the problem with the Aliens was that the film stock that they used for that was very high grain and very ugly. Like if they were to just do it directly, like a direct transfer, it just wouldn't look right. So they wiped it and they applied grain over it, and it looks fantastic, that Blu-ray. But movies are doing that just in general. Movies shot on digital, they're just wiping it and then reapplying it. But I think there's something fun about playing with the actual ISO on the camera. Horror movies are a perfect excuse to just use whatever is effective, you know? Mm-hmm. Whatever's most effective, that's what you should do in your horror movie. 28 Days Later, perfect example. They break a lot of rules with how they're using these cameras, and even with the cameras they're using in and of themselves. And it's very effective. It works really, really well. So I think if you want to get something grimy, you got to just get grimy with it when you're working with digital, You got to
get grimy with it. Well, Cody Clark.
I think I immediately thought of the Raid Redemption, and you guys had talked about this.
Right, that's a great example.
An old episode, like that was shot digitally, and it still looks grimy and gross and dirty and dark the whole time. And it's a lot of that has to do with like things outside of the camera itself, like sets, lighting, stuff like that.
And even like in low light, when you're using your actual eyes, you do see graininess. So there's a certain level of graininess that we just accept as part of living our life. Like even in the light in this room right now, if you stare at the white walls, you're going to see like grain.
In the mood lighting that Cody has.
Yes, with my candles.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you look at like a white in low light, you see the grain that's just part of your vision. So we're very open to accepting rain just because that's how we see the world. So it's weird when people just wipe it and just leave it wiped, That was always what was so striking about like HD and digital to me, was that everything's in focus. And I, as somebody especially who wears contact lenses, like when I see everything... Why isn't everything blurry?
Yeah, it's like it, but it's true. It's like, there's something about just being able to see every building in like a wide shot where you can see like the details. If I were to pause it, I could like point out like who's sleeping, who's naked, like that's too much for me. I'm like, man, that's too much information. Like I want to know like where I'm focusing, even in my own vision. But then again, I am flawed human being.
Well, yeah, I mean, in real life, no one sees completely clearly. There's always like a depth of focus thing going on with wherever you're looking, and your peripheral vision's not as focused as everything else. So it's also strange to me to see really wide shots where this focus is really deep and you can see everything.
The irony there is that people will go and like hate on a camera for like being a little soft, like the lens is a little soft. It's like, fuck you, your eyes are a little soft, just in general.
Yeah, the whole obsession with like clarity and
I mean,
I don't get it all. Like the Hobbit, the Hobbits 1 and 2, I just think are the ugliest things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they got really ugly.
And yet when I see the Hobbit 1, when I saw the Hobbit 1 in theater, it was probably the clearest movie image I've ever seen. Like I was kind of blown away by it, but it didn't make the movie any more enjoyable. Still hate it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All
right. So next question this is from Frank, and he asks, how would you envision a Lars von Trier version of Godzilla?
Oh, no.
That's interesting. First of all, it'd be like 4 or 5 hours because that's the train he's on right now, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be 5 hours. It's going to be, it'll be all about people talking about like, and re-examining their lives of like, Godzilla's coming, this, that, and
so
the
it'll
other.
just be Melancholia. But
it'll be Melancholia, but then Godzilla, like, he'll cut before Godzilla ever comes or something.
Right.
And he'd shoot it all from the ground. So you'd only get shots of his feet crushing people and ruining lives and like nonstop. It would be like,
you're assuming that he would even get up to like the Godzilla destruction part. I don't think he's even going to get up to that.
I think the last hour would be destruction. Like there would be no stopping.
After
it would
4
just, like,
hours of like people having weird sex and depressing conversations and crying and actresses being put through like hell and stuff like that,
Yeah.
then you just
Then
see,
he'd just show you their bodies being crushed, like one by one, every single character just being like destroyed, and then like a good 5 minutes lingering on like their body, like.
it would just be slow motion too, right?
It'd be slow motion.
Yeah.
See
It
them
would just,
getting
like,
crushed like at like 120 frames per second, slowed down.
Really
just like this
bombastic,
foot just
like-
crushing for like forever.
You'd never see a shot of his face. It would just be from the ground only.
Or he'd go all Dogville with it and have Godzilla crushing buildings that don't even exist. Like, it'll just be Godzilla's foot like coming down and crushing what we are all pretending a building is, but is really just a chalk outline of a building on the ground. And it's just everybody running around like a warehouse.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe there's no Godzilla. Maybe it's just everyone just falls as if they're being crushed.
that would be beautiful.
I
Or
honestly couldn't get past the slow motion part in Antichrist. That's where I stopped.
yeah, me too. I
It
can't.
was too long.
I
And,
can't handle that in Melancholy either. It's just
yeah.
his slow motion shit I don't like. What if it's like The Idiots and it's just people running around pretending to be Godzilla and like fucking shit up?
That I'd watch, actually.
That would be wonderful if it's just like it's the human embodiment of Godzilla. So it's just like a group of like people acting crazy and growling at like unsuspecting people, throwing chairs and stuff. All right, so last question is, this is a long one. Bear with me. So many once legit actors reach a point in their careers where they are churning out roles more frequently than ever, but none that are even close to worthwhile for them or us. Mostly in action and comedy, but there are examples across the board. I've heard them called cash grabs, but for some of them, we aren't even talking about movies that will gross much bank, and I just can't accept that it is that simple. I understand that with age, one may lose the edge or ability that once made them so good, but these aren't swings and misses. What the fuck is going on, Smug Pod peeps? And that's from Jill. I guess what he's alluding to with action and comedy, maybe De Niro with like...
I was going to say Pacino.
Yeah, Pacino,
Yeah,
a lot of these guys. I think when it comes to like action people, like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Schwarzenegger and a lot of these guys that are like still making these movies and they're like terrible. I think people are forgetting that a lot of the ones that they made in like the 80s and the 90s were pretty fucking terrible too. I think it's a nostalgia thing where you only remember the hits, you don't remember the misses, and then when they're making misses now, you're like, hey, what's going on?
You know what I think it is? I think that what happens to a lot of actors in particular, like someone like Tom Cruise, I think falls into this, Jack Nicholson, De Niro, Pacino, all of these sort of monsters of acting. They make a bunch of great movies when they start out because they're directed well, they're fantastic, they're like, you know, they're much smaller. And now you suddenly have a ton of directors who are like, I want that guy. That guy's so good in that movie, I want him. And then they write movies for that guy. So then suddenly Tom Cruise now is Tom Cruise in every movie, or Jack Nicholson's Jack Nicholson in every movie, you know, or Al Pacino. I feel like Scarface and beyond, everyone just wanted him as he was in Scarface. And then everything that he's taken since is kind of this reiteration of that character because they're hiring him for now this character that he's perceived to be,
Right,
even
this
though he was an
bombastic,
actor. Right.
Loud guy.
And now, you know, now it opens up this whole world of now comedians can make fun of you. And now, like, you know, people can put posters up of you because you represent something very specific.
But they were like, all those guys made shit movies back then too. Like, I mean, Pacino in the 90s, like Sea of Love and like a couple of those other ones are just terrible movies.
But Pacino in the 70s is amazing. And then into the 80s, and then there's like a couple of, and then everything post. It's like that. And then he got this recognition, and he was sort of, and he was famous in the 70s too. But I feel like he got into that groove of taking parts that were written for him, or parts that people are probably forced to him. And I'm sure money's part of it. I really do. Genuinely.
Pacino had a better time of it in the 70s. De Niro early on, there's a lot of shitty movies that he made, and you always see them like in the bargain bin of like, hey, a bunch of De Niro movies, and like 9 of them are ones you've never even heard of. So he did a bunch of shit. Tom Cruise did a bunch of shit too. I mean, he's always done shit.
I think Tom Cruise was in some good movies. He has his moments.
Magnolia.
Legend.
War of the Worlds, I thought he was good. And he's good at like making these movies once in a while where you forget all the shit ones that he made.
He was good in Eyes Wide Shut. I thought Vanilla Sky was not a great movie, but it was pretty good for him.
I actually like him a lot as an actor. I just think the movies that he chooses sometimes, like what was that sci-fi one? You saw that one, Alex, right?
Oblivion, yeah.
Oh, I saw that. It was terrible.
What was the deal with that one?
It was bad. I just like part of the reason I didn't like it was him, but he didn't ruin it by any means. It's not a good.
It was like a perfume commercial.
It was, yeah, exactly. Oh God, like so much of the beginning of the movie takes place with him and his wife in their floating house, and it's just the dullest. Like you cannot imagine a duller marriage. Yeah, and they live in the sky, and they have like a pool in the sky and a spaceship, and it's still the most boring thing.
His new one's supposedly really good. It's been getting great reviews.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
looking forward to that. I hope he doesn't ruin it.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's fine. He's one of those actors I don't like for no real reason, but Tom Cruise's face like automatically takes the movie down a notch for me. Sorry.
No, I hear you with that. It's like you're just so used to it. You see it everywhere, and then it's like, now I have to buy that his name is like Greg, and
right, exactly.
He has these kids, and
because he's become this guy. I think that's it. Celebrity ruins people, really.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Well, it definitely ruined Nicholson. I think that's a perfect example. I mean, Nicholson now, what he does every year is he sits in the front row at the Oscars, and people make a couple Nicholson jokes. And he has some the
cut to reactions.
Facial reactions. Yeah. That's his gig.
It's his main role.
That's his main consistent role. You know, he's in this show called The Oscars. I think some of these guys they enjoy being this caricature of themselves because they're loved and they get away with it.
And it doesn't make up most of their lives. I mean, they're filthy rich, probably having a great time. And
exactly.
A few times a year though.
It's like going out a couple times a year with like a costume on. It's like, you know, it's just a costume that they wear and they just go out in public and people love them for it. And then they go back to their house and they get to live their lives and we never really know about it.
I do think they should always bill it as like Jack Nicholson as Jack Nicholson in
the Oscar. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that answered the question. I mean, the cash grab aspect, obviously none of these guys need the money. I think that's an important point. You know, if Pacino never made another movie, his family's going to be okay. I think they'll be all right. Same thing with Nicholson, all these other guys. I mean, they do it, I guess, to stay relevant and because they just enjoy it, you know?
Actually, you know, Matthew McConaughey is a good example of that because he kind of managed to reinvent himself that way. He kept getting parts that were written for him to be this sort of lame loser or like, you know, hottie or whatever, you know, like chick flick kind of crap.
Exactly.
And then he managed to like pull back, stop, and then, you know, come back as this, you know, the True Detective, Dallas Buyers Club, all of these more serious films.
Mud.
And it worked for him. Mud, yeah.
I think everybody can do that if they really apply themselves. If they're in that position where they have all that power, if they really want to, they can do that, I guess.
And if they're talented.
But they're all talented. All these guys we're talking about, obviously, they're all talented.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know. It's almost like, you know, people don't give sports guys shit for that. You know, it's not like anybody's going up to Michael Jordan and is like, hey, why aren't you playing as good as you used to?
Right.
You know? But for actors, I think we expect that they can always bring it, but maybe they can't. Maybe Nicholson just doesn't want to really put the work in that he once did anymore. I mean, acting takes a lot out of you, especially if you're given like an important, crucial performance in a film. If you're essentially carrying a film, that's a lot of weight. And a lot of these guys, they're getting up there in their age. Maybe they just can't play basketball like they once used to. Maybe it's just comes down to that.
And it's also like none of them, even if they could be great, no one's going to put them in a leading role in a blockbuster. Like, because they're not going to draw people. I don't even know if actors draw people anymore. I don't know if that's what brings people to theaters like it used to.
Yeah, I think that's over. I think that sort of passed.
But maybe that's part of it, is that like the charisma that everyone attaches to them isn't going to sell tickets like it might have at one point.
Right.
And so why pay them the amount of money that they demand to have that sort of part?
It's almost like we're covered as far as entertainment from these people, you know?
Right.
It's like if we want to see them do good work, there's 20 DVDs we could go watch, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we don't really need to go out to a movie and check them out. That's interesting that none of these guys have been tapped for like an aging superhero in any of those movies. Because isn't there like that whole thing of like Batman's old at some point in the comics, like in like there's a younger guy, or I don't know. I don't read these fucking things, but I hear that, right? Isn't there
Yeah,
one
I mean,
point
that
where,
was
like,
that was kind of a theme in like Dark Knight Rises, was that he's getting old.
But there's like isn't there some like arc of
Oh yeah, I think there is.
when it's
I mean,
like Batman's like an older guy?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. The point is, why aren't these guys being tapped for that? I mean, it seems like that would be, because superhero movies are the only thing that makes money these days. But anyway, I think we're able to close this mailbag now. We've done
It's not a
3.
real mailbag.
You don't know.
No,
man.
it is. It is.
It's here.
So you're
Well,
not
you
here
like-
right now. You're not staring at this gaping maw filled with letters.
So you like printed out Facebook comments.
Well, you know how like rooms usually have like floors? Not here, baby.
Just a gaping maw.
Just a gaping maw full of letters.
An abyss full of Smug film questions. You just like reach down.
We're just sitting on piles
like
of
a
letters.
grabber arm or something.
With candles all around.
Yeah. It's actually very dangerous. The candles make it very dangerous.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, whatever. It's all for art.
Whatever, man.
They may never hear the candles. They may never hear the mail that we're sitting on. But it enhances the experience for us and makes us able to do this to the best of our ability. It's all part of our process. All right, so Alex, you'll have to come back at some point.
Oh, definitely.
I miss you, buddy. When are you coming back to New York City?
That's a good question. I think I'm visiting Washington, D.C. sometime in the
That's
fall,
not
so
New York City.
I can do both, though. We're like
Please
8 hours
do.
apart.
I think 3 hours by train, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Oh, okay. I always get Boston, New York, and
And Boston's like 4 hours.
Boston's like 4, DC's like 3.
they're all the same. I mean, a train from where I am now, Michigan, to the East Coast is like a 20 to 30 hour ride. So a few hours on either end at the end ain't gonna make that big of a difference.
Yeah, get on it, Alex.
Yeah, get on that train. Are your bags packed?
I'm moving to Illinois, so that's even farther away from New York.
Oh, no.
Fuck you. Why are you leaving us? I feel like he's abandoning us.
You think you get an extra hour, Alex, but you know what? You just lose an hour with our hearts.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
All right. Thank you for being on the show, Alex.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you, Jenna. Any last words from you people?
I watched all of the Mad Max movies in as many days, and
Hated them?
I have mixed emotions. But
We'll save that for John.
We're
and
gonna
Nico,
save
'cause
it, but I
gotta
think-
hear him yell at you over that.
I think everyone should go watch them.
Yeah,
I've only seen
Just do
Road
it.
Warrior, and it's great.
The last one is so 80s it hurts.
I can see that, yeah. That's
you-
like Predator 2, I might have liked if it weren't the most 80s movie ever.
Predator 2. Don't even get me started. Predator 1 is. I love it more than Aliens. I think it's a masterpiece.
I love Predator.
But give me a last word there, Alex.
Watch Predators. I know you don't like it.
Oh, fuck
Cody.
that one. That
Predators
fucking
is
lost
fantastic. I
lost
love Predators.
ripoff.
it's,
Hate that
not.
shit.
it's not a lost ripoff. It's great.
All right, what are my last words are? I don't know. Be nice to people.
Great.
Be righteous. Be a good person.
Actually, I have a last word for Cody.
Yeah.
It's about me.
What?
I've reviewed 999 movies on Flickster.
And like
God.
5 on Smug Film.
Shush. So the next movie I see will be 1000.
Oh man, you gotta pick it carefully.
A lot. Yeah.
It
Who
better
knows?
not be like Mr. Bean's Holiday or something. It better be something like great.
I got something in mind.
All right.
Oh, is he worth watching? Atwater, whatever his name is?
Rowan Atkinson?
Atkinson.
He's great.
He's
dude.
amazing.
I've never seen what's the show?
Blackadder
Blackadder
is
Yes.
the best.
Well,
you like it.
His Rowan Atkinson live DVD is fucking hysterical. It's like him doing a whole bunch of different skits live on stage. You got maybe that would be like the first thing you should see of his.
All right.
So go check that out. And you listeners home, go check that out. Great DVD. Anyway, thank you for listening. Subscribe, rate, comment. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.